generalization occurs when a learned skill is applied in different but similar situations. Mike was able to apply her generalized skill is used for his home coffee maker to operate the restaurant coffee maker. Apparent condition is a process of strengthening behavior by rewarding its or weakening behavior by punishing a response. Generalization occurs when a new or different response is applied to a familiar situation. Okay. Mr. Darcy gives her students tickets for answering questions correctly. Eventually the students can use tickets to buy small prizes, such as pencils, candy, stickers. This is an example. I already know this. It's not unconditional response. It's not classic conditioning, but it's token economy. Or none of both. It's token economy. That's correct. Okay. Shannon is studying to become a behavior psychologist after graduating from school. How can she apply her knowledge? Working in childhood education, helping people with developmental business, helping adults with schizophrenia, all of the above. That's correct. Steve, if I get it wrong, it'll tell me. If I get it wrong, it'll tell me why I got it wrong. I gotta get that up. Okay. Steve is a kindergarten who has a hard time of sitting in the desk during school. He often fidgets or stands up during class. To help Steve sit still, teacher to help Steve sit still. His teacher often gives him stickers when she sees him sitting quietly. This is an example of positive reinforcement, token karma, operant behavior, or all of the above. No, this is positive reinforcement. Yeah, that's correct. Brittany's mother gives her a piece of candy every time she washes dishes. At first, she enjoyed the candy, but now she did not like it as much as she did before. She has a pile of uneaten candy in her bedroom. What is this called? Negative reinforcement, citation, deprivation, or D, none of the above. It's B, citation. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, I got it right. So I study about 10 minutes, about 3 times a day. I do this. That'd be cool to be a surgical tech. That'd be so cool. And also, I found out to work in a hospital, being as a medical tech, you don't have to have any schooling, which is pretty cool. That's what I'm gonna do if I have to. Okay, but I want to be friends with psychology. I think that's fascinating. Huda, I don't even know how to say his name. Mr. H is teaching her dog a new trick. Every time the dog performs the trick, Mr. H feeds him. The dog does not. He does not feed him for several hours before training time. What is this called? Either it's negative reinforcement, satiation, deprivation, or all of the above. It's deprivation. Correct. Deprivation refers to a period of time prior to training when the individual does not experience the reinforce. In this example, the food is more reinforcing to the dog because he is unable to eat prior to training. Additionally, the situation is less likely to occur because the dog will continue to want food. Citation, will less likely occur because the dog will continue to want the food. Okay. Coach, I don't know what's up with these names. Lafitte, Lafette. Okay, takes his soccer team to the ice cream shop after every game, whether they lose or win. What type of reinforcement this is? Negative reinforcement, contingent reinforcement, and non-contingent reinforcement. I think contingent refers. And I'm gonna tell you why. It's wrong. I guess it's non-contingent reinforcer. I hate getting these answers wrong. A non-contingent reinforcement is a reinforcement that occurs at the same time, regardless of the preceding behaviors. Because Coach Lafette treats his team to ice cream whether they lose or win. Ice cream is non-contingent reinforcement. This team will only have ice cream after winning every game. It would not be a contingent reinforcer. I Can't believe I got that mixed up. Which is an example of an unconditioned reinforcer? Okay, it's gonna be all of the above. I already know it. Food, water, sexual contact. I like to call it sexual encounter, but yeah, it's right. Chris Christine is 3 years old. Christine is 3 years old. She does not want to go to bed. At night, she yells at her parents from her bed, demanding stories and glasses of water. My kid would not do that. You don't even want to know what I would do. Her parents decide to ignore her nightly outbursts and continue with their evening activities. Eventually, she tires of yelling and falls asleep on her on her own every night. What is this called? It's called extinction. The other ones were positive reinforcement, conditioning reinforcement, extinction. Extinction because the behavior wore out. Okay. When an individual behavior is no longer followed by reinforcement, the behavior is less likely to occur. This principle is called extinction. Similar behavior that has been previously increased by the positive reinforcement is no longer followed by reinforcement. The behavior will decrease that occurs in both desirable and undesirable behavior. Okay? These are like paragraphs I'm reading. Casey is the mother of a teenage boy who has been badly behaving badly at home. I get the words mixed up. I'm the idiot. Dyslexia. At the home and at school. After working with her son's therapist, Casey has learned to stop reinforcing her son's undesirable behavior. A few days after she stopped reinforcing the behavior, it becomes much worse, and her son behaved aggressively, even breaking things in the house and hurting his brothers. That kid would have been sent off somewhere if that was my kid. Hell no. What is wrong with these people? Kids crying because they want water and go to sleep, staying up all night, hitting people, being aggressive, breaking things. I couldn't deal with that. Positive reinforcement, extinction burst. Yeah, it's extinction burst. Non-effective reinforcement on the it's extinction burst because it's like they're trying to ignore it, and then the burst is right before it gets better. Like the burst is right before it just extincts the behavior. If that makes any sense. An extinction burst is an increase of response after behavior is no longer being reinforced, like I just said. This system, previously learning that if pays off or not forthcoming, increased behavior may be what it's like to give reinforcement. The increased behavior is reinforced behavior will continue. This can create a several problems in the extinction process, including aggression or self-harm behavior. The extinction continues, however, the individual will eventually learn that behavior will not be reinforced and the behavior will stop. Daniel's car won't start. She turns the key in the ignition several times with no luck. She stops and calls a friend for a ride, but several minutes later she tries to start the car again. What is this called? Spontaneous recovery, extinction, continuous reinforcement. It's called some spontaneous recovery. Yeah. Okay, I got that right. A rat is given a piece of cheese every time he presses a lever in his cage. What reinforcement schedule is this? Continuous reinforcement, intermittent reinforcement, or fixed racial schedule? Fixed racial schedule, I guess. It ain't even correct. I got it wrong. I guess it's continuous reinforcement. Yeah, it says schedule is one of the reinforcers for every occurrence of behavior. An intermittent reinforcement schedule reinforces the behavior only occasionally. Fixed ratio and schedule is one that is okay. Fixed ratio schedule is the one that reinforces a behavior after a set number of responses, since the rat gets cheese every time the lever is pressed. This continuous reinforcement, which means continuous. Okay, I'll remember that. Jack has a job washing trucks. He gets paid every 20 trucks he washes. What reinforcement schedule is this? Continuous reinforcement, intermittent reinforcement, or fixed ratio? Fixed ratio schedule because he gets paid. Yep, correct. Devin asks several girls on dates. Some girls say yes, some girls say no. What reinforcement schedule is this? Variable ratio schedule, intermittent reinforcement, fixed ratio schedule, or D, all of the above? Okay, it's gonna either be. It ain't gonna be fixed. Some say yes, some say no. Variable ratio schedule, or intermittent reinforcement. It's variable schedule, ain't it? Yep. Variable ratio schedule occurs when the number of responses required for reinforcement is unknown or unpredicted, and intermittent reinforcement schedule refines as a behavior. Only usually a fixed ratio reschedules one that reinforces the behavior and often reinforces the behavior after a set number of responses. Since Devin does not know when or how many girls must he ask out before receiving a desired response, this is a variable ratio schedule. The dining hall at the university serves meals at 8 a.m. to noon and 6 p.m. every day. If students arrive early or late, they must wait until the scheduled meal time to eat. What reinforcement schedule is this? Variable ratio schedule, fixed interval schedule, fixed ratio schedule. It's gonna be fixed interval. Yeah, I got it right. Erin checks her mail several times each day. Sometimes she has email in her box. Other times she does not. Sometimes it checks every 5 minutes. Other times she goes several hours between checking. What reinforces the schedule? I'm getting tired. I'm not gonna do this no more. Let's read the Bible. I got the Bible verse on that one. Okay. So God was kind to the midwives, and the people increased, and blank evil more blank. I gotta make up words. I'm trying to study my Bible. So what I do, this is Exodus 1:2. So I do push this. This helps me remember. I'll look at Exodus 10:2. Exodus 10:2. My Wi-Fi's going down. Hold up. What's wrong with my Wi-Fi? It's not working. I hope that shit ain't from me. Fuck. I didn't even answer. Yeah. Okay, I'm coming. I knew it was for me. I'm coming. I have to get some clothes on. Hey guys, I got some medications. I'm gonna have to stop this video for now.